Hold on when you need a friend, I'll never let you go again. Reach out when your mind's uneasy, 'cause I'll understand.
Hello my lovelies and welcome to Peachy on this beautiful summer day here in London. Today's video is going to be about weight loss and how you can lose weight or excess fat specifically for good. I've been receiving a lot of questions about this on Instagram and on YouTube, so today I want to finally address the topic. First of all though, I would like to be clear about a few things to anticipate certain things people are gonna say. I am not an expert in the field and I also haven't lost impressive amounts of weight throughout my life. But what I have done is I have always maintained a positive relationship with food, which made it much easier to not gain any crazy amounts of weight, because there were also tough times in my life where I could have done that. But I actually have always followed these 10 kind of rules or principles that I'm going to show you in the following. And I think these tips really help you to not only lose weight in a more healthy fashion, but also to not gain it back. So that being said, I think we should get straight to it. Tip number 1, avoid the word diet. The problem with the word dieting is quite substantial. First of all, a diet is by definition something temporary, so it seems only logical to, after the diet is done, go back into your old habits and hence regain the weight. Also, being consciously in a state of dieting creates this constant sense of restriction, which leads to stress and which at the end of the day leads to a negative relationship with food, which should be avoided at all costs. Tip number 2, ignore the scale. 2 reasons why you should ignore the scale. First of all, the goal of every diet is usually to help you become better looking and healthier. In order to do that, you need to replace excess fat with muscle tissue. That, however, might make you actually heavier because muscle tissue weighs more than fat, and therefore you might step on your scale and you're completely demotivated even though you're doing really well. Second reason, the scale again creates such a competitive environment which makes you way more focused on your diet, and that can lead to psychological stress, and stress and food is always, as I said before, a bad combination. Tip number 3, stop when you're full. One important habit to adopt when you want to lose weight for good is to generally stop eating when you're full. I know a lot of people struggle with this because they just feel bad wasting food, and I understand that. Me personally, I would always just eat unless I'm full and then store the leftovers in the fridge. And even in a restaurant, I know you're not supposed to do that, but really if it helps you, go and take a doggy bag and you will also feel much better afterwards. Tip number 4, make a lifestyle change. Instead of going on any sort of hardcore diet, I believe that making a general lifestyle change, a change in your habits, is going to be more successful in the long run. Already from a rhetoric point of view, I feel like lifestyle change sounds much more positive. It sounds like a new beginning, like a new healthy habit you're going to adopt, as opposed to this restrictive sound of dieting. But also on a practical level, I believe that doing a lifestyle change, so that means adopting healthy habits, maybe one after another, maybe a bunch of them at the same time, is going to lead to more long-lasting results, because it's not like after 2 months of torturing yourself, you're gonna go back to your old life, but you're doing that for good. And yeah, I think it helps. Tip number 5, find a sport you love. In a way, it's paradox because they say that sports only make for about 30% of your overall dieting success. However, diets that are not supported by physical activity are almost always bound to fail. Me personally, I don't even try to do any calorie counting or any sort of restriction if I know I can't do sports to support it. And guys, I know that it's super difficult sometimes to motivate yourself to go to the gym, because the gym can be really boring and just tough. However, if you manage to find that one sport that you really love, I mean, whether that's volleyball, whether that's tennis, it doesn't matter, then you really can go there with a good feeling, and time will pass like a second, and then you come back and you have burned a lot of calories and all is good. Tip number 6, don't do cheat days. Guys, I know that cheat days have become quite popular in the modern media, you know, hashtag cheat day on Instagram, and then you see like a huge stack of whatnot. I personally believe that cheat days are essentially a form of scheduled binge eating, and for me the habit of binging is never healthy and also should not be, you know, supported or even rewarded with a special day for that, because essentially binge eating is what makes people gain excess weight to begin with in many cases. Instead of cheat days, I think when throughout the week you crave something sweet, you should give into it and just make sure you just have one of the things, you know? Have one little chocolate bar or whatever it is, and then maybe compensate it rather with physical activity. Tip number 7, control what you have in the house. So whilst usually in life laziness isn't a preferable trait to portray, it can actually help you with controlling your cravings. If you make sure you only have healthy, nutritious food in the house, then that means if you want something sweet or something, you know, naughty, then you need to go all the way to the corner store or wherever you have to go. And that way, out of pure laziness, you are less likely to give in to your craving. And if you do give in to your craving, then at least you took a little walk and you got off the couch. Tip number 8, don't deem anything as forbidden. First of all, there are few things in life that make an item as appealing as when it's forbidden. That does not only apply to guys, that also applies to food. Forbidding something creates that strong urge to get it and hence increases the focus on that thing, which makes dieting much harder, which makes the whole dieting experience much more negative, which increases the chances of gaining your weight back after the diet is done. In general, the only thing that really matters is your overall calorie count, in contrast to the calories you've burned. So you should give yourself the freedom to say, okay, I'm really feeling like I want to have a Snickers right now, so then I'm gonna have a soup for dinner or whatnot, or a salad. That's more effective than overeating on healthy foods anyways, where you end up with the same calorie count, and in general it just makes the whole experience a bit more positive for you. Tip number 9, don't cancel out entire food groups. All diets that forbid you to eat carbohydrates, that tell you to only eat soups, that tell you to only drink smoothies, those diets are going to be especially ineffective in the long run. And aside from being ineffective, they're also super unhealthy. And what they do essentially is that they make your body super keen on storing extra fat once you started eating normal again. So as I said before, instead of going on a crazy diet, it's always better to just nurture healthy eating habits. Tip number 10, focus on building muscle. So I know a lot of, especially girls, when they try to lose some excess fat, they really focus on cardio training. However, if you want to lose fat in the long run, then I think it's much more effective to focus on building muscle. Because the more muscle you have, the more your daily calorie intake is going to increase. So therefore, a workout routine that focuses on building muscle is much more effective than a cardio workout routine when your goal is to lose fat long term. By the way, you can only build muscle if you don't starve yourself, so starving yourself should never be an option and is always going to be much more ineffective. Alright my lovelies, that was it for me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Next week, by the way, I'm going to post a video on what I eat in a day, because I've gotten a lot of requests about that as well. Also guys, I just want to point out one more time, as corny as it sounds, but we don't all have to look the same. And maintaining this kind of Victoria's Secret body, for most people on this planet, I'd say 99.999%, that just takes a really sucky lifestyle where you just have constantly to work out and restrict yourself. And I think at the end of the day, we have to accept our bodies the way they're composed and, you know, just live a happy life more than anything. I'm just wishing you that you will find a good balance in your lifestyle and your nutrition and everything. And on that note, guys, I'm going to say goodbye and I'm going to see you next week. Hopefully Friday 10 a.m. as always. And yes, enjoy your weekend. Adios.
Hold on when you need a friend, I'll never let you go again. Reach shout when your mind's uneasy, 'cause I'll understand.